Hello, hello. It's been a long time since we did an Aquaponics update, so we might as well go ahead and do that. I had just about everything die and all kinds of different problems with it. The beans died, pretty much everything else. I had to rip it all out. The only thing that's stuck around is the jalapeno, and that had been attracting a whole bunch of ants. And I had this weird thing going on where I think the ants were actually living in the grow bed, because there was just an incredible number of them going up and down the trunk of this jalapeno, and I tried a bazillion different things to get rid of them. Of course, I bought some ladybugs. The ladybugs put a pretty good dent in the aphids, or whatever this stuff is that has been growing on the jalapeno. And by the way, the plant itself seems to be doing great. Like, there's bugs all over it, but it doesn't seem to have cared. It's producing nice peppers here and there. Getting to be a pretty good size. I've got a friendly little praying mantis that moved in here. I can get this thing to focus on him. Focus, you fact. There we go. Now you can see him pretty good. Of course, he's loving it in there. Plenty of stuff for him to eat. And I bought some ladybugs, but they're not going to put a huge dent in the ants. I tried to keep the ants off of the outside of this thing by putting, I put WD-40 on the outside of it, and axle grease, and even roofing tar, and none of that seemed to keep them out. And at the same time, solids started to build up in the bottom here. Got pretty bad over time. Got to the point where normally I would have to vacuum this thing out like once a week, maybe every 2 weeks even. I hope you die in a fire. It got pretty bad. Got to the point where I actually had to vacuum out the solids from the bottom of this thing almost every day. And if I let it build up, if I let it go a day or two without sucking out all the solids from the bottom, it'd start killing fish. Got down to the point where all of the goldfish had died. I've been fighting these ants and fighting them, so many different things, and the thing that finally did it, the thing that I think finally worked, is that went in here and I pulled the bell siphon out, and then I lifted the standpipe up to the point where, because remember, this is the part that it actually drains through, and whatever the top of this is sets the height of that the water level gets to in here. So we raised this standpipe up to the point that the water level actually rises almost to the very edge of it. You can see it's almost overtopping this thing. And what that did is it denied the ants a path through this gravel to get anywhere, because they would crawl across the gravel, and the water would come up and it would carry them away, and they're done. I would leave the bell siphon out for a good 10 hours at a time, so it was just submerged and just stayed submerged. There was no cycling at all, just submerged. And I think that drowned them out. I saw some ant legs. I saw some ant eggs float to the surface. It's a good thing. I made sure that those got washed down there into the main part where the fish could eat them. And I think, as crazy as it sounds, I think the ants were living inside of this grow bed, and I believe that I killed them all. I drowned them out. So we're starting to rebuild. We've got some butter crunch lettuce. We've got some Swiss chard. One of these things, I think, this should be spinach, I think. Some lettuce. The peas are doing okay. They are starting to produce pods, but the plant itself is not looking great. They may not have been too happy about the ants either. Maybe some chemistry's off a little bit. The jalapeno is doing really well. Making these nice big peppers all over the place in here. A whole bunch of them. So I think we're back on the right track with this guy. Let me take you around back and show you what we got going on in the backside. Let me show you my backside. Show you back end. Take you around back and show you. Okay, so this is probably all new. I don't think I've showed this off yet. I laid a foundation of mud, and these aren't mortared or anything. They're just kind of laid in there. But for being just stacked up like that, I think it's a pretty decent job. I like how they lined up pretty nicely. The reason I did it this way is because I want to be able to tear this out easily if I need to. I may fill with dirt and rock, but I wanted it to be semi-permanent and easy enough to remove. Back here, we got infected with thrips. Took me a little Googling to figure out what the problem was. Tiny little black bugs. They got all in the basil and whatnot. And the basil actually came back really well, and the only reason it's chopped back so much today is because it was time to harvest it. It was just doing really well. Probably could have left that until after I did the update. You can see that something has been in the beans, some kind of leaf miner, but only on those leaves, and I think we might have gotten it under control because it seems to be doing pretty good now. We've got a few shard over here. Got some butter crunch lettuce, and I don't think these guys are getting as much sun as they'd like to get. You see how they're all scraggly? It looks like they're still trying to reach up for the sun. Over here we've got some more butter crunch lettuce and some more peas. I think these peas are doing a little happier than the peas in the front are doing. But overall, we're doing okay. I think I want to plant some more. I think I might want to pull some of these lettuce and get something in there that doesn't need quite as much sun. Based on the way these beans are going, maybe some more beans. And of course, the star of the show, these fish are getting to be enormous. It's hard for me to tell here, but you can see the goldfish eating the algae off the sides. Love that. One of the tilapia, there's another one, You probably can't see it so well because of that reflection. There are 4 in there, and it's going to be pretty big. Is that not the biggest chunk of a goldfish you've ever seen? Thought it was pregnant for a while. Unless they've got a really long gestation period, I think that's just a fatty. And of course, the reason y'all are here in the first place, because you don't really give a shit about this aquaponics stuff. Today's giveaway is going to be a Vetter gun belt. As you can see, it's a 34 to 37 inch waist. If your waistline is somewhere between 34 and 37 inches and you're the first one to say, I'll take it, you can have it, unless your name is California EDC, in which case he should probably give a chance for somebody else to win something. Same thing goes for this Chris extension for a Glock 20 magazine. This worked perfectly in my Glock 20. It did not work in the TNW Arrow survival pistol that I tested it in. But I think that's more about the TNW Arrow than it is about this magazine. A word of caution, they are pretty weak right here. They will snap easily, but otherwise they should work okay. So this particular one comes with custom laser engraving on it that you may not be able to see so well on video, but trust me, it's there. Like a finger or something like that. Maybe a finger with a couple of knuckles next to it. Custom laser engraving. And MPOW electronic earmuffs. These aren't great, but they're okay. If I remember right, I think these are rechargeable with USB micro. They're definitely worth every penny that you'll spend on it. So I would prefer that each of these go to a different viewer. This video will get published for Patreon viewers first, so they'll have the first crack at it, but I will cover shipping. Whoever wants it, just post "I'll take the" whichever thing it is that you want. Don't be California EDC, and don't take more than one thing at a time. Or if nobody else takes it, California, you go ahead and grab it, as long as you've given people a chance to get it. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you get the chance, please support me on Patreon, because I like money, and I promise you that every cent that I get from the Patreon proceeds will go to purchasing beer or something else that I like, because I like money. Support me on Patreon, buy stuff from the Teespring store. I like money. You like money? Give me money. I love you.